Welcome back, you guys. You know what? This is going to be an unusual one today. I'm sitting here chopping it up with Vinny. Vinny, say hey to the people.
Hello, and good evening.
You know, we're sitting here thinking. So we do this often, you guys. One of the things that keeps our relationship strong is that we do make time to communicate. And sometimes that communication just kind of shows up with us talking about what happened during the day, or, I don't know, any random thing. Baby, what do you like to communicate about when we chop it up?
Normally, it's usually what takes place throughout the course of the day, like you mentioned, and sometimes just our feelings, whatever we're feeling in that moment, or whatever feeling that something may have caused us to feel a certain way behind, just things like that. Some light.
All right, we got some light. So, guys, let me go ahead and pick up my energy level. I'm going to go ahead and keep it real. All right, it is 9:02 in the evening, and this is the time I'm usually going to bed. However, I decided to, sidebar, we do no scripting, so that was Vinny coughing in the background, but, no worries. He said, excuse me, we're going to keep it moving. But I decided to pop on late tonight because first of all, I was moved to talk to you. And second of all, I decided to, I told you I was going to bring you into our world a little bit. So here we go. This is not necessarily going any place. But one thing that I did think about was, as we were talking, is how people focus on the wrong thing way too much, y'all. And for real, when I think about relationships, I see so many people inside of these relationships who aren't friends, and I know I talked about that. We already did a podcast on ensuring that you're friends before anything else. But when I say you focus on the things that are just not necessarily the things that we should prioritize, y'all, I'm just talking about real life circumstantial events. Like, for instance, and this is me randomly talking to you guys, but let's just talk about capitalism. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's a good thing that we live in a country where you can kind of just work real hard, or at least the concept is you work real hard and you, what's that saying, baby, when you enjoy after you work real hard, what's that saying? Yes, the fruits of your labor. You get a chance to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm down for that concept, right? But the problem is that some people don't even get an opportunity to get to a place where they can have the resources available to them so that they can get the education they need to have an opportunity to work real hard to land them to this promised land, that we know as capitalism. So that's the problem, you guys. When I talk about us focusing on the wrong thing, I'm looking at our society and I'm just saying, I look at athletes that are getting paid a lot of money. And I'm not minimizing what they do, and I'm not saying they shouldn't earn every bit of the money that they make. But as a teacher, I also look at how hard I work, how hard my coworkers work, how hard other teachers work. Y'all, let me tell you something. Listen. This ain't a matter of me wondering, I hope, this school is going to be all right. And I know that it will. I mean, one thing about teenagers, they are very resilient and they can persevere through everything. But we live in a society where we can't really contradict anything that's popping off. So the reality is, I don't know when a person is going to... a teenager is going to lose their ability to maintain their control. And unfortunately, their emotions are raw like that. So that's definitely a reality. Getting back to the things that we focus on and the things that we prioritize, my point is this. Teachers risk their lives, y'all, every day. Like, anxiety for real is really real. Even to their partners. Now, I ain't even going to speak for Vince, but he has told me on multiple times that he does have some concerns about where this career of choice might land me. Like, baby, what are the things that you're concerned about me being at work and at school. Like, talk to the people.
I mean, just looking at all the current events and the situations that take place in some of the school environments, sometimes for the loved ones of the teachers, it can be a very, concerning situation because of certain school shootings. And are our loved ones safe? How can you better protect them? Is there some mental programs that some of these children need to adhere to? Like, certain children have been diagnosed. How can we better monitor the safety of these kids for the safety of our teachers and loved ones as well? So it is concerning. It is concerning to me as as a loved one of a teacher. It's very concerning. I do think it's a very high risk job. I do think they're underpaid. I do think teachers are undervalued because I see directly what a teacher goes through. I see what she brings home. I see the type of emotions that come with her associated to being a teacher, and how she has to embrace these emotions of numerous children and co-workers every day. It consumes a lot of your own energies, and then you have to get up and deal with it 5 days a week. And it's tough. And it does roll off over into our relationship sometimes, but now what I had to learn is there's a certain line that we both have to draw, and we both have to understand work is work and relationship is relationship. And I know she has to put in a lot of hours to help these kids, and I'm all for that. So she got the best of both worlds. She got someone who really wants to help her succeed, and see her complete this task, and she got someone who supports her with the task, so it's easy for me. So she kind of lucky, and I'm kind of lucky to be able to help her. So that's my take on that. And that's Vinny with the red heart.
Vinny with the red heart, y'all. Y'all are going to hear so much more about me and my love, Vinny with the red heart. That's probably the most that he's gone in naturally. And it's super cool to allow you guys to kind of step inside of our world and just hear us authentically kind of doing what we do. This wasn't planned. I was sitting here chopping it up with Vince, and I said, you know what, we're going to do a podcast. And he was like, what? And he started getting stuff together. Well, y'all don't know, but we light candles, and, we got the sage burning. It's a whole vibe up in here. So when we get ready to put our efforts into something that, we're going to put out into the world, to Vinny, that's important. So he's not quite as spontaneous with it as I am. But here's the kicker, though. With Vincent, he just can flow, y'all, as you can hear. Like, I said, you know what? I'm going to trick him. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something. You want to keep the relationship spicy, sometimes you just got to trick them. Trick them, girl. You got to trick them. Anyway, I knew that if I just put him on the spot, and if it wasn't planned, there was no time to be nervous, and that he would just flow like he did. So you guys, again, that goes back to our topic. You got to prioritize the right thing for the right reason. Vincent and I have this saying. We say sometimes you got to do the wrong thing for the right reason. And what that means is that, from my perspective that Vince shared, and then I kind of developed my own perspective. I'm going to let you hear his. But, society will get you jammed up sometimes with what is right and wrong, because we succumb to a lot of societal rules of what's right and wrong. And those don't align with our best interest. And sometimes that can mean, the best interests of a certain group of people, black folks. I ain't naming no names of groups, but I'm just going to say black folks. You know what I mean? So therefore, sometimes those societal rules don't align with what's going to be fair. And I'm black, so of course I'm going to say that, but I'm not alone. There are many groups of people who have been shunned by society because these rules are in place. I'm not saying they're not necessary, but I will say they're not fair. Baby, what do you think about that?
Definitely, our system that we call equality is never equal. We've never been treated equal. And it's difficult to see. And once you get of age and you come to the realization that things aren't fair, and you start to use your common sense, it's a little easier to see, more difficult to accept. So it's difficult to get people around you to see something different when they've been traditionalized and structured to know one format. If they're used to using addition and you up them to multiplication, it's going to take them the time to really understand, like, why do I really need multiplication when I can really add? So it's just a matter of preference these days, and it's like I said again, it's just difficult to come to the conclusion what society really expects from us. So we have to be individuals and just venture out on our own path.
I think that's a good point. Like venturing out on your own path, y'all know I talk a lot about getting out of your comfort zone. In fact, that was what the last podcast was about. So Vincent makes a good point. Sometimes to kind of level the playing field. I'm not saying, y'all, now look, don't go out here breaking a lot of laws now. That's not what I'm saying. Don't break no rules. Excuse me. However, what I am saying is that sometimes you have to, as Vincent said, forge your own path, create your own path to equal things out, because unfortunately we don't live in a society that prioritizes equality. So at the end of the day, this is what this podcast is about. It's about, what are we prioritizing? You know, are we really kind of succumbing to societal, this is how it should be because this is how it has been for forever. Tradition is something that we do a tug-of-war thing with society all the time. But at what point are we going to let this traditional stronghold go? Because at the end of the day, I'm a 54-year-old old lady saying to you guys, this traditional mindset many times is definitely in the way. I'm not saying all values are that are tradition. However, what I am saying is that we need to leave rooms for some other perspectives. We need to be flexible in that. We really need to take the politics out of what's traditional or liberal, or if you're a right person or left. At the end of the day, we got to kind of be able to prioritize something different rather than just keeping things status quo. So I'm going to end this random podcast, y'all. You know what? It's Thursday. It's Thursday, right, babe?
Yes.
It's Thursday. It's 9:15. So you guys, I think we got a good time at 13 minutes and 37 seconds. So, but before I go, I got to do it. This is Miss L. This is the altered image, but Miss L ain't by herself today. This is Miss L and
Vinny with the red heart.
Vinny with the red heart. Y'all, I'm going to tell you a story about that, but my students coined Vinny as Vinny with the red heart, so he's a whole brand at Key West High School. That's another story. But anyways, you are with Miss L and Vinny with the red heart at the altered image. This is obviously unscripted because you guys heard all of us, clearing our throats and things, but that's what keeps it real and raw. And he says, excuse him. You guys, please go to the YouTube. Vinny and I got some stuff on the YouTube. And as I said in the last podcast, we just going for it. We have comedy on there. We have blogs of us traveling, spoofs of us just living our lives day to day, just stuff that we randomly post just because a moment happens and we want to share it with y'all. So that's on there. Of course, all of my podcasts are on there. Y'all know I'm representing some brands and things, so that's on there. So if you like some discounts, I got your back. This ain't a podcast that, I ain't trying to push any sales items on you. However, I just need you guys to know that that's also on there, and I do have discount codes. So if you like to shop, I got you. Anywho, that said, we're going to talk. I'm not going to promise y'all when the next one will be. I think I'm just going to let the Spirit move me. But thank you for allowing us to share with you some of our life. Make sure that you click the subscribe button, you guys. Please make sure that you share, like. Y'all, this ain't monetized. It's not. So please know that the intention behind this is to make sure that this podcast gets out to all the voices that it's meant to, be heard by. So with that being said, we are at 16 minutes. You're with Miss L and Vinny with the red heart. This is the Altered Image. We'll be back when we be back. I love you. I mean that. Whoop-oo! We'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Have an amazing weekend. Take care.